Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing Agatha Raisin and the Walkers of Dembley, written by MC Beaton. It's book 4 in the Agatha Raisin series. It's a cozy mystery series. It's a village cozy mystery set in a village called Carsley in the Cotswolds. And I like this series very much, and I liked this book a lot. Agatha Raisin is one of my favourite characters in fiction. I like everything about her. I like the way she thinks. I like just her attitude. Even when she's mean to people, it comes across in an enjoyable way. And I just like we're getting more of Agatha as the series goes on. She's becoming more complex. We get a bit more of her understanding about how her mind works and how she fits into this village life and how she thinks of herself as well fitting into this village. It becomes clearer as the series goes on. And I just love going back to this village in the Cotswolds. When I read this series, it feels so comforting. It feels like going home in a way. And I love all the characters in this village as well. They just all feel like real people. MC Beaton has just a great knack of writing characters, I think, especially in books that are very short. Because these books are fun, quick reads. Another reason why I like this series, because you can just pick it up, have a lot of fun, enjoy the whole ride, and you just know you're going to enjoy every moment in books like this. This book starts off with Agatha finishing up a 6-month stint in London. So at the end of book 3, she decided to sign up a contract and work for 6 months for a PR firm. And it's the PR firm she sold her company to. Because when we first meet Agatha in this series, she's selling her business. She owned a PR company, she's selling it off, and she moved to the Cotswolds. That's when we first met her. But after that 6 months is up, she's realising she misses her home in the Cotswolds in Carsley. She's sick of London. She's sick of all the people who are fake in London. Nobody likes her there. And she's starting to realise she's got genuine friends in Carsley, so she can't wait to get back home. And when she gets there, she finds out that James is a neighbour of hers, next door neighbour, and she's got a crush on him, mega crush. She finds out that James is running this walking group, a rambling group in the village. And she thinks, I can walk. I'm going to join this group, prove that I can walk, prove I'm interested, and get closer to James. So it's kind of a selfish motivation to join this group, but it's very comical to see her join this because other characters in the village are also in this group. Just as moments when they're all walking, things that happen, and very laugh out loud moments in my view. But the book kind of picks up when we meet a different walking group in Dembley. And there's a great contrast between the Dembley group and our group in Carsley. The group in Carsley is just more friendly group. They just like walking in the countryside, go for pleasant walks, and they don't care where they go. The group in Dembley is led by this woman who's quite militant, and if they come across a walking trail that's blocked off by somebody's fields or fences, she's convinced they can just force their way onto the land, break down the fences if necessary, and just trample through fields of crops. And their next walk is planned to go on land owned by a guy called Sir Charles Frayth. And it goes through fields, so he's got crops there that part of this walking trail goes on. And Sir Charles agrees to let the people on his land, but he suggests that they just walk around the crops when they get to a certain point, not trample through his crops. He's happy for them to walk on a trail where a crop isn't. So that seems a good compromise. And other walkers in the Dembley group are happy with that, but the leader's not. So she goes there by herself because the other members of the group don't want to go with her because they know she's going to start trampling in Sir Charles's fields. And she does. But of course we know this woman, this militant leader of this walking group, is a trope. The trope being that she gets so many people offside, she makes a great murder victim. And it happens in this book. She's the victim, and her body's found sometime later after she vanishes. And Sir Charles and his butler, Gustav, are suddenly suspects in the murder. And that's where Agatha comes into this investigation, because one of the women in this walking group started getting friendly with Sir Charles. She spoke to him before they were going to be walking on his land, and she thinks that Sir Charles is in love with her, and she's in love with him. And she doesn't want Sir Charles to be arrested or blamed for the murder, so she goes to talk to Agatha, and she tries to get Agatha to help. Agatha agrees and she ropes in James. James is reluctant at first, but he can't resist being involved in these crimes with Agatha, so he agrees to help her, and they both start investigating. And this is where the book is really interesting in my view, because the whole investigation becomes a lot of fun. Agatha and James have to go undercover. They move to Dembley, into a flat owned by Sir Charles, and pose as a married couple. And posing as a married couple just opens up just a lot of scenes, a lot of funny moments, a lot of great moments in this book between them both. And it just makes Agatha fall in love with James even more in this book as well. And you just get to see kind of like what would happen if Agatha and James actually lived together. I'm not going to dive into the plot in any more detail in this video because I don't want to give the investigation away. I don't want to give away who's guilty and who's not. I don't want to give away any spoilers, even by accident. But I'll just say about this book in general. So, characters. I love in this book that we meet Sir Charles and Gustave for the first time. They're both great characters and they just are written so well. Sir Charles just comes across as like a almost boyish or like a teenager in some ways, even though he's not a teenager. He comes across like that in the book. Just his attitude to life and attitude to other people sometimes in the book. Gustave, his butler, is written so well. He just comes across as almost very gloomy and dark sometimes in this book, and very threatening sometimes as well. He just seems to have these little one-liners about different people when they come to visit Sir Charles, and as a character, Gustave is very imposing. He makes a good impact in the book as well. A very interesting first impression for characters in the book when they meet him in this book, but I do like Gustave as a character as well. The other characters in the walking group in Dembley are all written very well. They're very different, so different to the walking group in Carsley, but these Dembley characters, they all make for great suspects because they've all got secrets to hide, and they all seem to have kind of bad opinions of other people in the group as well, and also about the leader of the group who died. So they make for great suspects in this book, and when you read this, I'm sure you'll think any of them could be the culprit. I like the mystery in this book a lot. You might not realize that it's complex when you first start out the book, but it is complex. And it ends very neatly. It all makes sense. There's no over-the-top moment. There's no real leaps of intuition to get there. But it does make sense by the end, and very believable by the end as well. The settings in this book I do enjoy a lot. I mean, I do love a village mystery. So that whole village setting for me is just perfect. The setting in Dembley is great as well. That's because we get it through Agatha's point of view. I mean, the whole book is through her point of view anyway, but when she visualizes Dembley and the characters and the flat or apartment she's sharing with James, all that just brings Dembley to life even more. It makes the whole setting just more vibrant, makes it more colourful, makes it more enjoyable as well. And I do enjoy the setting in Sir Charles's house as well, because when we visualise that through Agatha's eyes, it becomes very different. Sir Charles as a character is great. The immediate impression of him is he's fun, he's vibrant, he's a bit eccentric, but in a good way, but he just loves life. He just loves living and actually likes meeting people and talking to them. You get that impression as well in this book. You also get the impression he's a bit of a ladies' man. He likes meeting new ladies all the time, and he doesn't really meet them to have great romances, but he's interested in romance. So you get that impression about him as well, that he's sometimes a bit aloof as well, that he can be a bit of a cad sometimes. So he's many different things in this book, Sir Charles. But he's interesting as a character, he's very engaging, very fun. He just fits this book so well. Gustave is Sir Charles's butler with a permanent scowl. He's very interesting as a character, he's imposing, he feels dark and gloomy. He'd actually fit a gothic style book in my view. He has that feel about him. And this character that's always lurking in the background, a bit shadowy, a bit dark, and you could just picture him murdering somebody as well. But Gustave is interesting because he feels like Sir Charles's protector as well in the book. He feels like he's always got Sir Charles's interest at heart, but you're not sure if his motivation is selfish or not, because you just wonder if he thinks that if Sir Charles ever gets married, that he'll be out of a job. But I do like the moments where Agatha and Gustave are in the same scene together. And that's mainly because of Agatha's reaction to Gustave, and also the scenes where Sir Charles and Gustave are in the book together, a great moment as well. So as a character, Gustave is very different in this book, but he's also very eccentric, but very unique as a character. DC Wilkes is a character that's in every book in this series so far. He just pops up because he's always investigating the case, the main investigator, but he's not in the books for very long because Bill, another officer on the force, is the main policeman we see in these books. But Wilkes as a character is there because he's a bumbling fool, basically. He's the police character that always gets it wrong. Agatha has to come in and swoop in and solve the crime, or whatever investigation it is. And he's also the character that warns Agatha off the most about cases, don't investigate. And you get the impression that Agatha just infuriates him in this book. And I like DC Wilkes as a character for that. He's used in a tropish way, but he makes sense to the whole book and the whole series. And he's a good character in my view, because he's like this character that ignites this fire in Agatha to solve cases. And that just needs that in this book, because it's like a motivation for Agatha to get involved in the first place. This book, being the fourth book in the Agatha Raisin series, is a great addition to this series. I enjoyed it a lot. I rate it 4 out of 5. It's almost a perfect book. There's so much to like about this book. We're introduced to some great characters. There's a great mystery. Agatha is spot on in this book again. The Agatha-James connection keeps going on in this book. There's a surprise at the end of the book. I won't tell you what it is. There's a surprise that will lead into the next book in the series. But I just like the fact that MC Beaton creates these fun books that are quick reads, but they're just so colourful and there's so much detail and great characters in the books. It takes great skill, I think, to create books that have such in-depth characters and settings in a very short read. I don't know if that's because we're in book 4 in the series and we're getting to know certain characters more as the series progresses. It just feels like that the setting and the characters, all the things going on, are so well described in this book and this series overall. But I think it's so hard to do with short books. It takes great skill as a writer to do that. As I go through each book in this series, I will record a review and put that video up on my channel. If you don't want to miss out on those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also an Agatha Raisin playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.